Ready?
Yeah, we're live.
Hello and welcome to the Postmod Pod. This is the Postmodern Families podcast, and this is episode 9.
That's right.
Uh-oh, there's an
Uh-oh.
ad playing.
What are you doing?
Can't
Oh.
have that. So, what
Do
are
you
we
want to
doing
introduce
today?
yourselves first? Just introduce yourself.
Well, if you don't know, I'm Felipe,
And I'm Lillian.
and we are Americans living in the UK doing podcasts.
That's right.
No, we are making sense of current events. We are making sense of current events. So, as per usual, we get into our icebreakers. Okay, here it is. Did we do who was your childhood actor, actress crush already?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, let's do that one. Who was your childhood actor, actress crush?
Can we just include musicians, or does it have to be an actor, actress?
That's the question. Sure, why not? Why not?
I had a big crush on Michael Jackson.
Gay.
I did. I just loved his
Uh-huh.
I don't know. What about you?
For me, let's see. Childhood crush. So what constitutes childhood? From what age to what age?
I don't know. When you consider yourself a child, I guess. Is that just ice? What is that?
Let's see. I would say probably gosh. Who was so Alec Baldwin got married to
I don't know how you know this, like,
what's
celebrity
her
trivia.
name? Not Michelle Pfeiffer, not gosh, he had kids with her too. She was in Lethal Attraction, I think it was called.
Lethal Weapon?
Can someone no lethal? Can someone? Oh, thanks, Edward Brown, for that $5. Hello, Microsoft.
Nice.
Look, there's only, and it says only 2 people in the chat. Okay, can you hear us all right?
We're back, they say. Okay. Gosh, that's really annoying. I don't know why it just...
This business is
You know,
a complicated business.
This is why people have producers who just do all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And then the people who are just talking to the camera can worry about the content and not all the technical stuff.
Stevel Knievel says, hey. Okay, now you're duplicating. Thanks, Paul Smith. Okay, so let's get to it. What's our first story? What's our first story?
So this is an image from a link, I guess. And the tweet says, something really odd is going on. In Europe, we are seeing surges at many places where most of the population has already been vaccinated. At the same time, the 15 least vaccinated countries don't seem to face any problem. At some point, denying this problem will get painful. And it's a chart that shows you that the cases in the last 2 months, while the Delta reached dominance in Europe, the UK is right up there around 550 cases, and then the Netherlands is right underneath, and then Malta is around 350. And those are the top 3 highly vaccinated states, or not states, but countries, and they have the most cases of COVID. And then there's a second chart that shares that it says share of people who received at least 1 dose of COVID-19 vaccine, and Malta has an 84.95% vaccination rate. So 84.95 have had at least, percentage of the population have at least 1 dosage. The UK, do you want to guess? It's actually higher now, but in this world data
For
graph,
a single jab,
for the 1 dose,
80%.
it's 67.82 according to this
That's
old chart.
That's old. It's
And then-
80% now.
Then the Netherlands is 67.38, And then the 15 least vaccinated states are listed, starting at 41%, and goes all the way down to 5% in Ukraine. And those are the ones that are showing the lowest cases
Okay.
for COVID. So I found that interesting. And if you guys want to watch the playback of this video, it will go up on our Postmod Pod channel, and I'll be able to just cast this image for you guys. But I realize that you can't see it, and I don't know how to share whatever like on the live stream. So that's interesting. And then I wanted to read just another tweet, kind of on the same topic. So Zuby Music, he tweeted something that says, "Isn't this exactly what at GVD Bosch was warning about many months ago in regards to mass vaccination? Good grief." And he links a gov.uk publication, and he boxes this quote. It says, "The combination of high prevalence and high levels of vaccination creates the conditions in which an immune escape variant is most likely to emerge. The likelihood of this happening is unknown, but such a variant would present a significant risk both in the UK and internationally." So it's just this idea that, is there a correlation between vaccinated people and COVID cases? What do you think?
I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, there have been when the spike protein technology was explained to me, it made sense that it weakens your immune system from other things, but it didn't say anything about it affecting the COVID response. I don't know.
Are people speculating that the vaccine is increasing the spread of COVID?
Not the spread, maybe, but
That's
I
what
don't know,
that seemed
maybe
to
the
suggest.
spread. Yeah, because it's not talking about hospitalizations. It's talking about just the incidence of cases rising.
Okay.
But also that this Delta variant comes out of that. Like that, it's almost like the vaccine is causing a Delta variant to catch hold. Did you get that?
Yeah, so that it's making recipients of the vaccine more susceptible to receive
No, that
to
it's making the Delta variant
more
stronger,
more strong,
more prevalent is what I was going to say, but
or the effect of it in your body more intense.
yeah, or maybe that they're not able to fight it.
So what data are they pointing to that suggests that the vaccines are?
Well, the fact that the highest vaccinated countries have the highest number of cases of the Delta variant, and that the lowest states or
But that could
countries-
just be that the highest vaccinated countries are the highest developed countries or the highest populated countries. I mean, who's heard of Ukraine? Come on.
So you're saying, oh yeah, so because is it a raw number then? Is that
Yeah.
a problem? That is a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Let me just see if it's a raw
It's
number.
gotta be per capita or.
Yeah, you're right. Let's see. It's saying it's a raw number. So the low ones, you're right, are smaller countries.
Of course.
Belarus, Montenegro, Slovenia,
Yeah.
Croatia.
Monaco, I'm sure.
But then Malta's
tiny.
high. Malta is at 350 cases, whereas
Okay.
the other ones are down 50,
Okay.
under 50.
Okay.
And then the Netherlands, which is also small,
Netherlands is not that small.
but it's
actually.
all the way up to over 500, right
Okay.
next to the UK.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Netherlands is, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, half the population of the UK.
I don't know, but the way that someone explained the vaccination
Explained it to me.
was that it is the spike protein makes it target the coronavirus, the COVID, and then makes it weaker against variants.
Okay.
I'm not sure why, but is that possible?
I
That
don't know.
we've now
I'm not-
we've basically weakened our entire populace to variants because of we vaccinated everyone for this specific one?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just completely tired of COVID speech. I'm just so
Other
tired of
people
it.
aren't.
I'm
You might be
so
tired, but a lot of people
tired
aren't.
of talking about COVID. Who's with me? COVID, because it's a spinning web of deception and amateurs talking and trying to piece things together,
Yeah.
and I just
So on that note, my next story is a Daily Mail article, only the finest, right? It's called Lancet Letter, which demanded Freedom Day be scrapped, backed by 1,200, quote, experts, actually included social workers, midwives, and dentists, and anyone who could sign it. The bullets are: document accused the UK government of conducting unethical experiment by pressing on with July 19, which would be Freedom Day, right?
mm-hmm.
Originally signed by 122 leading scientists and doctors, but gained more than 1,200 signatures a week later, the Mail Online found the list included social workers, midwives, dentists, and students with no scientific credentials. So, interestingly, a lot of people in power and people employed by the government, so NHS workers, social workers, they are really mad at Boris for
Uh-huh.
not pulling the plug on Freedom Day. They want him to just
Go straight into the next lockdown.
yeah. They think that it's extremely dangerous, and they think that it's funny. They call it an experiment. What was the quote on that? An unethical experiment.
Right.
Which is funny because you would think that a new vaccination that was produced within the last year or over a year now is an unethical experiment since they're giving it to babies and pregnant women and without any long-term study effects on humans. But instead, they're calling lifting lockdown an unethical experiment.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like, for them, lockdown is now the new norm. And going back to a pre-pandemic life is an unethical experiment. It's crazy. So anyway, I like this article because it kind of pokes on from both sides. It's like, hey, the scientists are saying that we should stay locked down and we shouldn't go ahead with Freedom Day or lifting restrictions.
Yeah.
But then the other side is like, hang on, what are all these 1,100 extra people who signed this document who have no credentials? And I was going to read a few quotes here because I found it interesting. It says, Dr. Simon Clark, a microbiologist from the University of Reading, told Mail Online that allowing people who are not scientists or practicing medical professionals within the UK to sign the letter was misleading. He added, the UK was in a unique position to most countries around the world because of its highly successful vaccination rollout, which gives it the luxury to be one of the first countries to relax COVID curbs fully, which is funny because in many states in America, they've completely relaxed, and they also have lower vaccination rates. So that's interesting. And then they warned that going ahead with Freedom Day, despite accepting there could be hundreds of thousands of infections each day, is both, quote, unethical and illogical. Once again, they're so focused on infections and not mortality.
On cases.
On cases.
Yeah.
And then
there are some countries that are signaling that they're moving away from tracking cases. Like Singapore, I think, has said that they are moving away from tracking cases and only tracking mortality.
Good. And then I guess I didn't realize, but they are claiming that Boris is going ahead with this Freedom Day as an, quote, unethical experiment because what he's doing is herd immunity by mass infection plan. And I don't think he's ever said that. Has he said that? Oh, we're going to lift lockdowns because we're going to do a new plan of defeating coronavirus by herd immunity by mass infection? No, right?
No. They have signaled that some of them, and they may have backtracked shortly thereafter, but some of them have signaled that they want to treat this as flu.
That would be more sensible, I think. It says there's roughly one death per every 1,000 cases in Britain at the moment, down from 1 in 100 in previous waves. But officials expect this gap to get even wider as more people get vaccinated. Hospitals, on the other hand, are rising. Hospital admissions are rising again. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
And then there's a good quote. I just wanted to find it. That doesn't help me because I'm a musician and I can't think when there's music going on. Did you know that? Especially when it's out of tune. So anyway, and then it goes on to talk about how it's unethical to lift restrictions because of the children and clinically vulnerable and immunosuppressed are at risk. So therefore, they think that it says a strategy that chooses mass infection in children and young people now as a way to protect the vulnerable in winter, instead of taking the time to vaccinate our young, is unethical and unscientific. So they think it's unscientific to lift restrictions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think every week you sit here and say, these people who believe the Kool-Aid, how can they believe the Kool-Aid?
Yeah, I do.
And that's just every week.
And then it mentions some of the people who are the experts and how they're on the SAGE team, the SAGE member. You know what SAGE is?
Yeah. The crowd's going wild here. They're saying, let's move on from COVID.
All right.
The live crowd
on.
is saying, let's move on. I'm trying to hold them off,
on.
but they've overwhelmed me. They've crashed the gates.
Oh, sorry. All right. So what do you guys think, though? Do you guys should we move forward with Freedom Day? And what does that mean?
Do you have another story?
No, that's it.
That's your story?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Let's get to my stories.
Did they give an answer? They didn't?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Just check. Check as we get along.
Bring on Freedom Day.
Here we go.
Yeah, everyone can tell when Felipe is not listening. Even I can. I just keep it in. I just pretend that I don't notice.
I'm not good at hiding that. Okay, so my first story is something that we don't have a TV license, so I can't really comment fairly about whether the BBC is covering it. I certainly don't see it on the cover of the Daily Mail, my primary news source, and I don't hear it on at work. The shop floor has radio on, and they put like pop music, and the pop music tends to have news updates and stuff. So they don't report on this, but it's what's happening in South Africa. So South Africa, here we go. Riots have been sparked by the jailing of former President Jacob Zuma. The death toll has risen to 212, up to almost 100 since Thursday, the government said. Police officers have been protecting deliveries of food to supermarkets after days of widespread looting led to shortages. An estimated $1 billion worth of stock was stolen in KwaZulu-Natal, with at least 800 retail shops, 800 looted, a mayor in the province said. It is quite clear, quote, it is quite clear that all these incidents of unrest and looting were instigated. There were people who planned it and coordinated, end quote, Mr. Ramaphosa said in a visit to KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Zuma's home province and the epicenter of the violence. The president said the riots were an attempt to hijack South Africa's democracy. He told cheering party supporters that instigators had been identified but didn't elaborate. Quote, we are going after them, he told reporters. In KwaZulu-Natal, many have been queuing for food, with some lining up from the early hours of the morning just to get a few items. People queuing told the BBC they were concerned about feeding their families, getting formula and nappies for their babies, and even food for their pets. The week of violence in the province has left roads damaged or blocked by rioters, and the government wants to make sure the food supply is not disrupted. Members of the army have been deployed to protect national key flashpoints, and the police are providing escorts for the transportation of oxygen, medicines, and other key goods, she said. Protests began last week after Zuma handed himself in to police to serve a 15-month sentence for contempt of court. Zuma's supporters reacted furiously to his imprisonment, blockading major roads and calling for a shutdown to demand his release. The protests descended into riots on a scale rarely seen in South Africa. Businesses in every sector were looted, burnt, and petrol bombed in cities and towns across KwaZulu-Natal, as well as Gauteng, which surrounds the country's biggest city, Johannesburg. And so that's the story, and there's some on-the-scene reporting that I wanted to play of a gentleman, private citizen, who's talking about rising up and defending his township. So let's see here.
Deployed here specifically by authorities. Mr. Nhlanhla, let's tell us why you're here. I saw you were carrying a rifle. Why is it so important for you to protect Maponya Mall?
Yeah. What's important for everyone to understand, right, is that the township economy belongs to the ordinary people of the township, being us. So if we have the dependency syndrome of always waiting for a savior to come and save the township, we'll keep dilapidating the way we are currently. So we are saying we are in partnership and joint ops with all law enforcement to ensure that what's left of the township infrastructure from an economy point of view is protected, and it's our responsibility to ensure that we protect it. We know Soweto is a place of millions of people with 11 police stations. That already tells you the stats alone that the SAPS, Metro Police, not enough. They don't have the capacity necessary. So it's important for the community to take responsibility, partner with law enforcement to ensure that our infrastructure is protected the way you see. We've got community members going through scanning, helping us to scan cars, any suspicious cars, those with training.
How are you identifying these
That's all I
suspicious
wanted to play.
cars?
So yeah, there's a major mess happening in South Africa.
Yeah, I also saw a tweet of a guy who said that he had been the last 18 hours just on duty with his gun and his house protecting his house.
Yeah, so I've seen loads of tweets. Fathers saying, I just did a patrol with my 3 sons, the youngest being 13. I've seen videos of gunfights, of private security. South Africa is a place where I think guns are still allowed
So
in the hands of private citizens.
Happening?
So what's happening basically, I don't 100% understand this, so if anyone in the comments wants to correct me, but it seems like the former president. So South Africa in general is a combination of Afrikaans, migrant communities like from India and Portugal, migrant communities from Central and Northern Africa, like the Zulus, and others. But basically, it is a place that has been. The majority populace are people that were not originally there 500 years ago. But apparently the Zulus have been there for many centuries. I mean, the Afrikaans have been there many centuries. And what happens, what I'm told, is that Zulu and other tribes from the middle and the north came down and clashed with the Afrikaans, which were Dutch and French Huguenots. And basically it's been a place of rather unrest for a long time. So the political atmosphere has shifted from a white minority ruling for most of the 20th century into a black majority ruling. And it's not just a monolithic black. Even within the blacks, it's quite diverse. So Zulu are a tribe. There's many tribes in there. I think Zulu is the majority tribe. So the previous president of South Africa was a Zulu tribe member.
Okay.
And he was accused, I think, of rape and embezzlement and other crimes, but he wasn't found guilty. What he was found guilty of was contempt of court. And so he turned himself in to serve a 16-month prison sentence.
Okay.
And so what's happening is that they believe that he, in anticipation for his jail term, he put in play and sent signals that there should be unrest, that he's orchestrating unrest.
Oh.
And it's mainly in Zulu populated areas, but it's spreading. So That's as far as I understand it. Basically, it's a power conflict
Yeah, so
between the
who's in
former
power?
president and the new president, who's not Zulu. He's black,
Okay.
but I don't know what his
Okay.
status is or
And
his
he's only
origin.
going to be president for that period of time? Like when he comes out of prison, is he going to then be president again or no?
I don't know how it works, but he's not president currently. He was voted out, I think. And but I don't know if there's anything stopping him from running again and being
Okay.
elected again. So that's the situation, and as you heard from the article, $1 billion worth of goods. People worried about feeding themselves.
Yeah.
I saw another video of milk trucks. These are trucks that look like petrol trucks that rock up to petrol stations and just spilling their milk in fields because they have no access to the stores, and the milk's just going to go bad.
Yeah.
And they need the truck. So this is semi-advanced logistical system is not going to function if they can't deliver the milk.
Right.
So it's just complete chaos, and I don't see anyone in the major West covering
Talking
it.
about it.
Yeah, yeah, and this combined with the flooding that's happening in Germany and the cars flipping over. I don't know if you've caught that. Major flooding. There's even a big dam that might break,
Wow.
apparently. So you have these natural disasters and physical unrest. I know people will say this is par for the course for humanity, but it just does seem like something is escalating. Something's in the air that's ratcheting up. And so is this a sign of things to come, even in more developed countries?
Isn't Cuba going through something as well right now?
Cuba's going through a revolt, yeah. So the irony about the Cuban rebellion is that all the organizations and ideologues in the West who claim to stand up for the oppressed and for the minorities are backing the communist government. So BLM has come out and backed the communist government.
They're just
But
not
yeah,
hiding anymore. Their
yeah.
cards have been shown. Everyone
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah. So it's just interesting that things are unraveling in certain parts of the world, and I worry about the West in particular. So that
We
was
have some, yeah. So
okay.
we have some
Go ahead.
comments. Well, first of all, thank you, Edward Brown, for £5. He has an interesting comment. I don't know what it means. Spare rib ticklers, cat flaps, knicker pickers, men, backpackers, tent peggers, trout fishers, melon farmers, quick fit fitters, left luggage.
I don't know.
Is this code for something that am I just spewing?
I don't know. You
something?
might have just
I might have just offended everyone.
or you might have double entendred or something.
I don't
Who
know.
knows?
Who what I said. Anyway.
Don't just read something you don't understand.
And then, oh yeah. So then Adam J says, yeah, they're burning schools and hospitals, which is crazy. And then that Katie Hopkins was just covering the affairs in South Africa not long ago. So
For what network or what entity?
she's not
For
part
her
of a network
for her
anymore.
YouTube channel, or she's not. She
Probably.
doesn't even have a YouTube channel. I'm sure she's not
Must
allowed.
be. Yeah. So
That's
that's
it?
it. And then AOC said something silly about Cuba, of course.
Oh,
And-
okay. So that was my first story. I wonder if there are other forces at play that are trying to create unrest in third world countries. You just had the Haitian president assassinated. So it's going down, man. It's going down.
What? How is that related? I wonder. That's the question.
Well, some
right?
people are connecting these dots,
Okay.
and you'll love this. Wait, listen to this. People are speculating that presidents and prime ministers that have pushed back against vaccinating their whole country have been put away.
Oh, I see.
So you're loving that. Bring that aroma of
Do you really
conspiracy.
think that seems fishy? I don't think so.
Not even Lillian will believe that. Okay, so my next story is a bit off the beaten path, and it has to do with the Bishop of Rome,
Okay.
the Pope himself. It's of interest. It's a bit of a niche topic, but I think there are general things to learn from
So
it.
this is the Pope of the Catholic Church,
The one and only
Francis.
His Royal Highness
What's his last name?
Bergoglio, George Bergoglio, I think.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Jorge.
All right, what did Pope Francis say?
Well, today he has declared that the Latin Mass is not a viable liturgy to use unless you have the permission of the diocesan bishop to use it.
Okay.
This is a change from what Pope Benedict instituted, which he said any parish priest who wants to use the Latin Mass may use the Latin Mass. And so Francis will spin it that he's just changed things back to the way they were before Benedict. And he's also said, I've simply given power back to the bishops. This is not me authoritatively saying no or yes.
Okay.
I'm just shoring up the authority of your bishops who really rule the dioceses. I don't rule the dioceses, right? So sort of my hands are clean from this. But in effect, the fact is that the majority of the diocesan bishops don't want Latin Mass.
Oh.
Okay.
So now it's only by permission.
By permission
of the
only.
bishop.
Yeah. So what's the general principle? It's a very niche topic, but the general principle at play here is why, particularly young people, why do they like the Latin Mass? Setting aside whether you're religious or not, let's explain what the Latin Mass is from a layman's perspective. I'm not Catholic, so if there's anyone Catholic on the channel, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Latin Mass is considered at least to be the most ancient liturgy of the Roman Catholic Church, and it's a very high aesthetic. Very
And it's
high.
in Latin.
Yes, it is in Latin.
I'm making it very, very basic for people.
Yeah. When I say the Latin Mass, it is in Latin. And the
Like the whole service is in Latin. There's no English spoken or Italian or wherever they are.
it's all Latin, and the presiding minister is supported by two other ministers who hold his sort of gown behind him, almost like a wedding
whole
gown.
time?
Yeah, while he's doing the consecration.
Okay.
So it's a very high aesthetic.
Okay.
Lots of candles, lots of incense.
Yeah.
Good music, Latin.
Okay.
It's like everything aesthetic that the Roman Church has to offer.
Yeah.
Compressed into this.
And the
Right.
Puritans just absolutely hate it.
So then, whereas the so-called Vatican II Council, which was in the 60s or 70s, ushered in a style of worship that is basically whatever you want.
Okay.
And so since that era, the complaint, the rub, has been that the aesthetic, of the Roman Catholic Church has declined significantly. It's
right.
become basically more Protestant, more
Yeah,
roach-
happy clappy.
happy clappy noise. I know some parishes that do salsa music. It's just out of control.
Yeah.
So the aesthetic has hurt big time, and the appeal of the Latin Mass for the youth was for a young person who wants something transcendent, something
Right.
that exudes beauty, and because they relate God to beauty.
Yeah, or like reverence and holiness. which
Reverent
is
holiness
different
and
than-
beauty all combine into one,
Yes.
because that's one thing. And so people are in a panic, people are in a spiral. And so the general principle is, what is it about modern society that has expunged high aesthetic from itself? So generally speaking, what people wear now, you look at pictures from 100 years ago,
Oh,
even
yeah.
50, 60 years ago, all men are in suits and ties and
Mm-hmm.
hats. All women are in dresses. I see all the time people in the yoga pants, people in the sweatpants, people in the flip-flops with socks, people
People just love comfort. these
in
days.
bathrobes. The other day we were in the KFC drive-thru, and there was a woman coming out of KFC in a gown with slippers. I just can't believe. And even at work, it's very low professional. And the music is less aesthetic. It's less melodic.
Yeah, it's just more beat driven.
Yeah. The buildings we erect are foul.
Yeah, the brutalist
the
era.
brutalist narrative. It's just a complete loss of high aesthetic. And so I wonder what has happened, and do people on the live or generally, does a high aesthetic appeal to you in any way, in music, in art, in architecture, in interior design, or do you just not care? And do you think that something has been lost, or do you,
I
what
in
you answer those
in my
questions?
study of music and modern music and how it's the expression of art.
What did you call that genre? What was that? New
New
music.
music. It's
Yeah.
called new music, and it was basically saying that there is beauty in anything,
Yeah.
and as long as you attributed some beauty or emotional thing to it, then it was beautiful.
Yeah.
So it was really turning the idea of beauty on its head and making it extremely subjective and not objective in
So
any way.
beauty. So art became just self-expression, and
Yes.
self-expression is just beautiful.
Yes,
Whatever it
no
is.
matter what expression, it's beautiful.
Right.
And that's where it's completely wrong. Because there is expression that's ugly. But if you just label it as art and they go, oh, that's beautiful, it's
Yeah.
just not true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway,
So what are folks saying? What are folks saying? As you pick that up, here's a tweet of a guy I follow, Quintus Curtius, stand-up guy. I really like him. He says the Vatican's official language is Latin. The authorized version of the Bible, as far as I know, is the Latin Vulgate. And yet there is a pope who seems actively hostile to the Latin Mass, which predates him by many centuries. Deeply shocking.
we have a Vulgate here, right?
Yeah. So what are they saying? What are they saying?
They say styles, expressions, fashions change and come and go. All is expressed and fleeting, but nothing is lost. As in nature, all is expressed. So this
What?
person is saying that expression is art, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that right? We're saying
Yeah.
Mahat?
It's the dogma that's self-expression. So I do agree that style changes with the time.
Yes.
But every era remanifests what it thinks is a high aesthetic. It doesn't necessarily mean expunging high aesthetic. Whereas one era might have powdered wigs and tight trousers for men showing their calves, and another era would have three-piece suits. Nonetheless, every era had its own vision of what high aesthetic was, and that was expected that everyone would follow it, and everyone wanted to follow it. What I'm pointing out here is that no one is following a high aesthetic today,
Yeah, that's true.
or very little people.
Yeah, the idea of being casual is
Cash.
seen as more genuine.
Yeah,
maybe.
authentic.
Authentic, yes.
Yes.
So therefore, to be more
You're-
authentic, you
you're-
want to...
Yeah. Be slobs.
Yeah, I guess.
Like the slobs.
On Harry Enfield.
Harry Enfield, the slobs. That's high art.
Oh, man. And then someone asked, is graffiti art?
A resounding hell no. Resounding. Bansky is garbage.
I don't know any graffiti. I did read a book by Francine Rivers called Masterpiece, and it's about a graffiti artist.
Yeah.
And how he did all these daring moves about
He did.
climbing up really high.
Wasn't Michelangelo a graffiti artist of the Sistine Chapel?
Yeah, no. But in the end, he actually paints for real.
Yeah.
And that's his
Yeah.
redemption, really.
Yeah.
Cool. And then someone obviously says the Catholic Mass is blasphemous. Talking about
Yeah, I'm not passing a comment on
what think ye of Catholic buildings being burnt in Canada?
and France.
Well, yes.
For a long time, it's a desecration. It's foul. It's
But it's just a building.
lawlessness. But that building has stood for centuries and has had souls walk through and pray and worship for centuries and centuries and centuries. It is an inheritance. It's basically a destruction of the inheritance that
Of
you
the
foresee.
history.
Yeah.
So it's similar with the pulling down of statues. I mean, if you want to say that, oh, it's just a statue, well, what is it
Yeah.
supposed to represent? That's
That's
what,
right. What is it? Yeah, exactly. What does it represent? In desecrating and destroying the physical representation of the idea, they desecrate the idea. You see,
Yeah, this is
that's-
similar with the American flag.
That's right. It's not the actual, cotton fibers in the flag. It's the idea that the flag represents, or the idea that the building represents.
Now, are the Brits that way with their flag, the Union Jack?
I think many are.
Hmm.
In fact, if you remember during the BLM riots, where a young man tried to burn the. It's not called the Union Jack unless it's on a ship,
Oh, I didn't know
apparently.
that.
So I think it's just called.
The UK flag.
I think it's the Union flag.
Okay.
So the Union flag is someone tried to burn it,
Hmm.
and citizens stepped in and stopped it.
Hmm.
And there were citizens also that were cleaning the graffiti that on the cenotaph. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The cenotaph, the war memorial,
Mm-hmm.
in London. So yeah, I think there are many people who still recognize it's not the flag as such; it's the idea. It's the idea of the flag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um, the leftists call the Union Jack the butcher's apron. Okay. And then, even though JPDMUFC says, even though I'm an atheist, I do admire the rich history of the religions and the culture they brought, despicable to just trash it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that realize that.
Yeah. Okay, so that was my last story. I think at this stage we can open it up to 10 minutes of Ask Me Anything. AMA as the cool kids, as the Microsoft dudes call
Cool.
it.
Okay.
AMA.
So I saw another footage of, do you remember, have you seen that footage of a door cam? This is in America. And there was a delivery guy delivering a box. And then this flag just flew down from the house and like landed on the
Yeah,
door.
I've seen the footage, and he
And then he
folded
like
it
folds it.
in a proper
And then
military.
he like and places it gently on top of the package and then
Yeah.
salutes it. And then turns like military style.
Yeah, I think he
before
was
leaving.
a veteran. Okay, first question is, when are you coming to Cornwall? Well, I think when someone in Cornwall offers us a proper afternoon tea with the what do they call them? The baked things
The
that you put
cake?
cream and
Oh,
jam
scones.
on. The scones. When someone offers us a properly
High tea.
prepared
I want a high
scone
tea.
where you put the butter and cream first, and then the jam, and then the jam. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Felipe, would you kill to protect your family? I would kill 100%. Turning their other cheek is a misinterpretation of that phrase, my friend. Okay, so next question. Come on, guys.
How long are we doing questions for?
10 minutes.
Okay.
So 10 after 10.
Cool.
10 after
How
10.
many people have joined us? I didn't even
42.
look.
Jam
guys
first
are
is
great.
an abomination, Mahat. It's a complete abomination. St. Ives is a place to go. I lived there 6 years. Paul Smith, I very respectfully disagree. I've been to St. Ives. It's like
was
it's like a
beautiful.
thing trying to be San Francisco with skateboarders and surfers and all that
I liked
jazz.
it. I thought it was very beautiful.
Okay, JPDMUFC. Do you follow UFC? Is that why you have UFC? When is Felipe's next beer trip? That's a good question. I will have a beer trip, I promise you, when they allow us to go to the bar to order and pick up our beer. I'm not about this table service business. That's an abomination to British tradition.
I think a lot of people are enjoying it. I thought.
Okay, where did you meet? Mahat, we met on a public bus. A public bus. Anthony Sampson scones, but the order of the cream, butter, and jam is a minefield. Yeah, all right. Not for me. It's cream and butter first. Let's see. Name a joke. My hat, my beard. Don't know.
What does that mean?
I think you would appreciate Malcolm Muggeridge, a journalist. Okay, let's see. Table service is for blank hats. Okay, fine. What are those books behind you? Okay, so several. There's a section above for Christian theology. There's a section. Next section is Christian apologetics. Then the next section is literature and Ayn Rand. And then the bottom section is for Latin, intellectual history, and then big books that have pictures. That's mainly for me. That's it. Okay, Charles Spurgeon or Charles Wesley? Ooh, Charles Wesley, for sure, hands down. Have either of you had a direct experience of God?
I have,
All the
yes.
time. Who is the windy one out of you two? What's a windy one? Is that
Windy?
Windy?
Is that like passing gas?
Is that what that is? How rude. How very, very dare you. Um, we're not answering that question. Okay, let's see. Spurgeon, Julie Roberts. I don't mind him. I like him, but definitely not Anglican. Oh, a Roman flag. Didn't expect that. Yes. So Kieran Hughes, that is a Roman Republic battle standard.
SPQR.
You guys mentioned Jordan Peterson was ill. Was it? What is it? And do you know how he is doing? He does appear to be ill. I don't know what it is. Do you have any
You
comment?
mean recently?
Yeah, recently.
I don't know. I just know that before, when we had
That was a long
commented
time.
on
Oh.
him looking ill, he was recovering from a drug addiction that
Yeah.
almost killed him, the withdrawal.
He's gotten something else now. I don't know what it is. Who is the most inspiring historical leader for you guys, other than Jesus? Go.
You answer this
You
one.
go first.
Inspiring historical leader.
Martin Luther
Paul.
King Jr.
The Apostle Paul. Definitely.
For me, it has to be. Wow, this is such
It's
a
hard,
difficult
right?
question. There's so many. It's just by era, I think.
How about Athanasius?
Athanasius is a big one. Yeah, Scipio Africanus, Fabius Maximus, Charlemagne, um, Horatio Nelson, Winston Churchill. Okay, let's see. Next destination you crave, guys. Go.
Crave.
Yeah,
Back to America, baby.
there you go. Who is the greatest British military history commander, in your opinions?
So Nelson.
I
right?
think you mean who is the greatest British military commander in history. That's hard. There have been many, but yeah, for me, Horatio Nelson.
Wellington.
Wellington is a big one too, but I like Horatio Nelson because he went to Nicaragua. It's a little known fact. He went to Nicaragua in his early days. Let's see. Presuppositional or evidential apologetics. Good question, Ross. For me, evidential apologetics or natural theology or natural apologetics, 100%. I'm with, let's see, the guy from Florida who recently passed away, that pastor.
Ravi.
No, one of their favorites. No, keep going. I forgot. What's for supper? We've already had supper. We had lamb ribs.
From a friend of ours who works on
Yeah.
a farm, and they get lamb every year, just all year round, really.
What is
So
your
good.
so? Would you ever go into politics? No. Politics is the fruit of a culture, and the soil needs transformation. Left-handed or right-hand? We're both right-handed. What is your opinion on British food portion size as compared to the U.S.? Go.
It's much better here. The American food portion is way too big, and I actually appreciate the smaller portions now. And we were just commenting on that when we got, what was it? I think we had some soda cans, and they're like petite sized. And then
Yeah.
what was the other thing that? We get some ice creams like on sticks, and there's
Yeah.
only 3 in a box. And Felipe was like, "This is so funny that they would
Yeah.
even sell 3 in a box." But
I would say I've grown to quite appreciate the UK portion food sizes.
Yeah.
Although when you order fish and chips, it's even bigger than US food
Yeah,
portion size.
that's
When you
true.
get a fish and chips, it's massive.
yeah,
Have you guys traveled mainland Europe? If so, where did you go? And if not, where would you go? We have been to mainland Europe. We've been to France, Spain, Poland,
and
Italy.
Yep.
We love the Med. Return to the Med. Return to the Mediterranean. Okay. Politics is show business for ugly people. Okay, might be. Favorite YouTubers, Delia Smith says. Go.
I don't have any. Do I?
My favorite YouTuber is not for knowledge or for politics or anything. It's a guy, King Schratz,
Oh yeah.
who just films himself eating. He eats one time a day and eats a massive meal. He'll go to like McDonald's and order the whole menu, or he'll order every donut from Krispy Kreme's, and he just sits there and eats it and talks about how he loves food. But the guy's fit and he's jacked, so you can't take it away from him. What do you think of the vaccine and its side effects? Boo!
Yeah.
There. Lord Genome, boo. Okay. Britt, Pat, how many books do you both read a month? What's your favorite book? Go ahead. How many
I
books do you
read
read a month?
maybe 1 or 2 a month. And by read, I mean listen to. Because my hands are always busy, my eyes are always busy, so I listen to a lot of books.
I tend to go ahead. I tend to juggle maybe 3 or 4 books, but they're big books, and I try to chip away. Yeah.
And what's your favorite book?
Oh, what did you say? What's your favorite book?
Isn't that what the last part of the question was?
Yeah, go ahead. What was yours?
Oh, I really like Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus.
Okay.
By Nabil Qureshi. It's
Okay.
about a Muslim becoming Christian.
Oh, okay. Okay. My favorite book has to be, gosh, this is a tough one. Besides the Bible, of course. My favorite book, oh, I gotta come back.
Is it commentary on the Bible?
I gotta come back to that. Okay, let's see. Opinions on cryptocurrency. I think ultimately governments will develop their own digital currencies that will overpower the cryptocurrencies. I know the ethos of cryptocurrency is meant to be independent, not centralized, so that you can't inflate the currency. But I think governments are going to have their way. Let's see. Norman Tabit once said about being in politics, you do not get into politics to be liked. If you do, you have already lost. Okay. All right. Favorite dessert. 1 more minute left. Favorite dessert, go.
Ice cream.
Sticky toffee. Okay, so you are Christians and okay with the vaccine. You know it's a prelude to the mark of the beast, says Lord Genome. No, we are not okay with the vaccine. We're not okay. I won't comment on the rest. But let's see. Gosh, I'm trying to remember that book.
Well, the vaccine is definitely off because of the abortion stuff. You know, using aborted fetal cells is a really big problem for me. So I
definitely
can't get on board with that.
We have religious consciences, religious objections.
What book are you thinking? Oh, your favorite book?
Yeah, it's funny that I can't remember the guy's name. It's that favorite of mine.
Oh, is it Polybius or
Polybius? Yeah, Polybius.
I remembered.
Polybius. STP is the bee's knees. Okay. English or American music? Last question. English or American music?
That's an interesting question. I really enjoy listening to American country music, and you can't find anything like that here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys love or know about American country music?
Oh, it's so good.
It's very good. So yeah, if I'm just into some casual, relaxing listening, it'd probably be American country music. If I'm into bobbing, rocking out and driving somewhere, it has to be some British pop, British Beatles, British Led Zeppelin, British.
The classic.
Yeah.
Nothing modern.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I think that's gonna do it.
We haven't said goodbye to our podcast.
We haven't said. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We know that you could be doing other things. Maybe you have been washing dishes while you've listened to this podcast. And for that, we appreciate you. We thank you for listening. Do leave a review, a 5-star review. Do share our podcast with your friends and family members and acquaintances throughout the social media world.
And if you do want to catch us on live stream, we try to do it on Friday evenings on the Postmodern Family channel. And then you can rewatch that on the Postmod Pod channel. And always you can email us at thepostmodernfamily@gmail.com.
Take care, guys.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
And thanks for watching, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone on the live stream.
Ciao. Ciao, ciao.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.